You're listening to the Big Cast, your source for the latest in financial technology. Brought to you weekly by the Best Innovation Group, with your hosts, John Best and Glenn Sarvati.
Welcome to this edition of the Big Cast. For those of you who are watching this after school, we love you. Anyways, my name is John Best, and I am the CEO of Best Innovation Group. And with me is my really good friend and partner in crime, one of the smartest people I know, Glenn Sarvati. Hey, Glenn.
Hey, John, how you doing?
I'm good. So I'm going to kick this off.
The Big Cast after school special, a whole new kind of marketing angle for us.
It's a very special episode of the Big Cast. It's not just a normal one. So, okay. So did you hear about this? Ready?
Go.
So apparently Twitter, we'll start off Facebook, Meta, now known as Meta. Meta sees an opportunity because of what the perceived mishandling of Twitter by their current CEO, Mr. Musk, to create they're going to be putting out a new Twitter platform, basically their own Twitter platform. So clearly,
how many fragmented versions are we going to have? We got Jack Dorsey doing the same thing with, was it Blue Sky?
Yeah, and that's different. That's Mastodon. So then he posts this. I believe it was Mark Zuckerberg, or I'm pretty sure it was him. And I don't know if you saw this, but Elon's response was, hey, I think I could take you. Let's fight, which everybody thought was a joke. Then Zuckerberg's response was, name the location, which if you're a fan of MMA and that sort of stuff, which I am just from my wrestling days, you know that that's actually a meme, like just name the location, like that's the real deal. So it turns out, and I was not aware of this, but and I kind of heard a little rumblings of it, but Mr. Zuckerberg has become quite the athlete in the Brazilian jiu-jitsu circles,
I remember seeing a photo of him standing on the podium for something. Yeah.
Right. So then apparently Musk says, let's do this in Vegas. So it got me thinking, like, if this is going to happen, why can't we have the major bank CEOs be part of this? Like, I'd like to see Jamie Dimon versus, say, James Gorman from Morgan Stanley. Like, that could be the top of the card, you know. Or Lawrence Fink from BlackRock. I'm putting my money on Dimon because I think I saw him when I was out in Saudi Arabia, and I think he's feisty. So what do you think about like I love this idea of big bank cage matches. It could change everything.
This could be good. I mean, too big to pin. I'm not sure what the next.
Yeah, well, like Brian Moynihan versus say Bank of America versus say Kenneth Chenault from American Express. That seems like or would you go more of American Express versus Citigroup?
They used to be wasn't that a falling out? That could be a heel turn. I think didn't they used to have a
oh yeah, it's a great idea. That's a great idea. So a heel turn, I like that. So anyways, that's my thought. If you're out there, guys, Glenn and I would be happy to ref in a no holds barred steel cage match. I think you should definitely be on the card before Musk. I mean, clearly, I'm sorry, guys, but Musk and Zuckerman are the main event.
Oh yeah.
By the way, apparently, head of MMA, what's his name, White, Dana White. Yeah, he actually is caught. He's in on this. He's like, yeah, let's do this because he smells money, right? We live in a world where two billionaires are interested in fighting each other. This is the best ever. We've had AI, and now billionaires want cage matches. I don't know that life can get much better, Glenn. I really don't.
I'm disappointed to hear McMahon's already horning in because I thought you were about to announce.
No, not McMahon. Oh no, White. McMahon is a WWE. That would be a very different kind of a match. Okay. That would be a kind of fake. We're talking real blood guts. MMA is the real deal.
I was going for the drama and the folding chairs over the heads.
I could see you liking that a little bit more, given I could see you like just the big yelling at the beginning of it, like "I'll kill you, I'll see your rates," stuff like that. But
I was waiting for your announcement that the Best Innovation Group started a new service line for promotion for event
hey,
promotion.
guess what? We do have something new coming that might be worth a quick talk, and it's a good segue into my next thing. So you know what I would like to know, Glenn?
What would you like to know, John?
What I would like to know is if any of our peeps who are listening to this who work in a credit union somewhere, if they found something that they're using ChatGPT for at their credit union, that it is just, and I think we could say this on the podcast, kicking ass for them.
Ooh.
Like it is doing like
Wait,
good stuff for them in their credit union.
This is the after school special version. You chose ass. Oh boy.
Just remember, if you're feeling that way, you should go talk to your parents. Anyways, whatever that way is, I don't know. But the idea that I believe, here's my thought. I've said this before, I've said it a million times. Credit unions were the original innovators, right? Imagine that you and I were hanging out somewhere and we were just two farmers, me and you. You farmed, you were growing cauliflower and I would grow corn. And one day you needed money and we were hanging out like at the edge of our properties where the cauliflower and the cornfields meet, talking over the fence, as you do as farmers. And you lamented to me, hey, I can't get a loan from the bank this year. And you know as well as I do that the vermin have come and eaten all the cauliflower this year. And I said, hey, you know what we should do? We should start our own bank. Like, there's nothing more innovative than that. That just seemed like way out of left field, and they did it. And we have an incredible community because of it. We have incredible resources, financial resources for folks because of it. So I'm betting that the folks and the peeps listening to this, whether they be in a large QSO, whether they be in a large credit union or in a small credit union, whatever, they found ChatGPT because if you've been listening to us, you know about it. And then, they probably found good use cases. But you know what I'm also going to do, Glenn? I'm actually going to make it so that you can post this anonymously. So we won't collect any information unless you ask us to. In other words, if you give us your name and your credit union, you want to talk about it, I think we can do that. But if you're worried about it and you just want to tell us what you're doing, but you don't necessarily want to bring attention to yourself, you can just do it anonymously.
So this is another one of those crowdsourcing examples, like we've done with the crypto report, where the more knowledge, the better in terms of how we lift everybody up, right?
I might go a step further. You want to hear what my step further would be?
Step away.
Yes, this is it. I might make an online database because I also want to collect the prompt. So what I want to know whether, something about the credit union and what you do, but you don't have to be specific, maybe just the size of the credit union, member count, something so we can tell or have some idea. I want to know what you did, whether it was successful or not. And if it was successful, what the prompt is. And then I might just create a free database where you could put in like accounting, because we should be able to sort these into, departments of the credit union and see what people are using it for.
When you say what the prompt is, excuse my ignorance, because you're obviously a lot more plugged into this than I am, but I'm guessing some other people may have the same question. I thought part of the idea was you didn't have to be precise with your prompt with ChatGPT.
Oh, no, you do need to be precise. That is a misnomer.
Okay.
Yeah, no, you need to be fairly precise, especially to get the results that you want. So having the precise prompt may be sanitized if there's any information in it with regard to your credit union or whatever, will be the kind of thing where, let's say that you were trying to, a good example would be a job description, right? Or something. And so, yeah, I had big success getting a job description out of this. And here's a prompt I used to make a job description for an AI engineer.
Okay. So to clarify, we're not talking about, and because I think, again, this might be helpful for people who are listening that might want to submit. We're not talking about member-facing applications. We're not saying people who put ChatGPT up on their website or in their apps.
No.
We're talking about internal uses.
I'm talking about whatever they're using it for in their job that's made their life easier and better.
Now I'm getting a much different idea. And I could definitely see, because I'm thinking, geez, how many people are far enough along that they're exposing their members to ChatGPT applications? But if you're talking about things like, developing job descriptions, that sounds pretty cool.
I just feel like there's a whole lot of innocuous use cases that are going to take a whole lot of time to sort of spread. Because what's going to happen is it's going to happen sort of organically at conferences and things like that. And we could speed it along by creating sort of a database of, hey, I used it for this and it worked. And not only did it work, but I got great results. And
I'm thinking,
here's how I did it.
Yeah, I mean, we're still what, 9 months away from the next CUNA GAC. What Tech and Ops is, a ways away. Let's accelerate.
Agreed. So, anyways, that's my idea.
So we'll depending on how long it takes us to get this page up, we'll put a link up. If not now, we'll revisit this. I would say if you want to, you can send an email right now if you just want to. Like you're listening to this and you don't have time to go to the forum. If you just want to put all that information, well, I would say only if you don't want to be anonymous. You could just send an email directly to me. Just JB at big-cu.com. I'll take it. And even then, even if you do want to be anonymous, I'm sure you'll honor that if they say, "Hey, don't use my name." But
I will never give up my sources, Glenn. I am a journalist. They couldn't get that out of me if they tried. Never. I'll go to jail first. I have journalistic. Didn't you go to a journal class? Aren't you actually a journalist?
I have to admit, I've never taken a single journalism class, but I have lived with a journalist. So does that count?
It does. It does. In fact, that's almost worse than going to class. That's a step beyond that. Like some of us just want to do it part-time and you chose to do it full-time. So, hey, guess what?
What?
Wells Fargo, speaking of member-facing ChatGPT apps, guess what Wells Fargo just rolled out?
We're talking a lot about Wells Fargo lately. I saw you sent me it was a screenshot of, I guess, has their app always been called Fargo? But I saw something at Fargo and some voice prompts.
Yeah, so they sent me a note this week, and basically they said, hey, guess what, guys? We've got a new assistant, and the assistant is going to be at the top of your mobile app. They said it's rolled out.
Is it a controlled rollout? Does pretty much everybody have access?
Well, here's what I'm going to do. This was 2 months ago. Wait, where's it at? Fargo, it's coming. So I'm going to play this for you so you can hear it. Oops, can you enable a screen? My God, Glenn, how long have we known each other and you won't enable sharing a screen for me? What have I done wrong?
I don't trust you. Come on.
That's probably smart. Okay, so I'm going to share the sound and we can listen to this. Ready?
Yeah, go for it.
Are you ready to Fargo? Meet Fargo, the new virtual assistant from Wells Fargo. Fargo is coming to the mobile app to help you do more on the go. Banking is a snap when you Fargo. Fargo makes it easier to do things like searching your most recent transactions by date, or even search for transactions from a specific merchant, like purchases or returns from Amazon.
So I'm going to stop it right there. You can't see it, but it's like ChatGPT. They're typing in stuff, like they're typing in, show me all the transactions from Amazon. And it just is showing all those.
Amazon. Want to see what else Fargo can do? Fargo can help you stay on top of your finances and even show you things like your FICO score. So how do you use Fargo? Just tap on the Fargo logo at the top of the Wells Fargo mobile app once you're signed in. Then type your request into the prompt. Fargo can even offer suggestions to get you started. Get ready to Fargo. Available only in the Wells Fargo mobile app.
So we've turned Fargo. Fargo is now a verb. To Fargo. Get ready to.
Well, are you ready to? I assume it involves.
We've come full circle.
I assume it involves like a wood chipper.
I was going to say Fargo. I'm thinking of Erica, which was a similar app that I think, is that just the name?
No, this is not similar. Erica was more like a Google Home or Alexa of that, right?
It was, that was the voice-based one. I was thinking in terms of the way you shorten your name. But yeah, I can't avoid, somehow the way they used it here, but when I just saw Fargo in isolation, I'm like, I go straight to the movie and I'm thinking, okay, let's put your paper statements in the wood chipper and just go purely with Fargo. Yeah.
This looks like ChatGPT plus mobile banking. And you know, I've been toying with this a ton. And I think it's fascinating. It looks like they really pushed hard to get this out quickly. But yeah, this legit looks like ChatGPT plus a voice app.
So I'm guessing, I mean, they say, and it is type in. I thought maybe this was something that was verbal, but but it doesn't have a strict, protocol in terms of what words, what magic.
No, it just was like send, show me all the transactions that are over $50. Well, I actually have a Wells Fargo account. I'm going to try it. I want to try something a little more, like, for example, show me, here's a test I did. Now, what I did was I used Plaid. You're aware of Plaid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because Plaid has a sandbox, and I built kind of a model, something like this, where you would go in and you would make requests. You could go in and say, show me all my transactions related to coffee. And then I had already fed it, say, 3 months of transactions. Now, what was interesting was it came back with scooters. You know what scooters is?
Oh, is that the name of a
it's the name of it's a coffee. It's a franchise like Starbucks.
Oh, I did not know.
And so we've been, as you know, we've been traveling a bit, my wife and I. So she went to Scooters when she was in Colorado, which is a coffee place she really likes. It came back with Starbucks. It came back with a local place in around here that doesn't really have coffee in the name. I don't know how it knew it was a coffee house.
Yeah, that's my question. I mean, it's one thing if the merchant name has coffee in it. I mean, unless I don't think that the merchant category literally gets to coffee.
But it points to an intelligence that we haven't seen, right? That, okay, this thing's been trained on the internet, like ChatGPT. If I said to ChatGPT, do you know what Scooters is? It might say, yeah, you could ride a scooter. But I said, no, in terms of coffee or retail chain, it would say, of course, Scooters was founded in this time by this person and blah, 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 blah. And it would go on like a nerd about scooters. And so the question is, if it has enough, what's really interesting is this leap, and a lot of people will describe this technology as autocomplete on steroids. But, if you do enough research into this stuff, you realize that we're able to make these, but we're not exactly able to explain how they're working, or very few people are to any great detail. And so how does it make that jump when you pass it, all this history and you say, well, look through this and tell me what you think is coffee. And you're not saying, hey, sort through these retail things and use your vast knowledge of the world to associate any of this with coffee. As you know, a lot of the way that this is done is with mathematical inferences that are related to more distance than anything else. So in other words, it's graph and presumably Scooters, because it's a franchise that does coffee, and the word coffee have a closer relation than, say, a franchise that doesn't serve coffee, like Jiffy Lube. And so it would be brought up in the mix. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, I'm thinking also, I'm sure it is not 100% accurate, but it sounds like it would get pretty darn close.
So anyways, I'm going to try I'm going to Fargo. That's Fargo.
So is it live now, or is it, like I said, do you know?
It says it is. I got a note that said it was, but what's funny is, and I don't know because I've been, Wells, I've been a member of for a long time, or a customer of for a long time. And I don't do my primary banking there, but I do some. And, just because there's, we moved here into Tennessee and there just isn't my credit. There's more of those nearby for doing banking with the kids and stuff. And I could still do it through the credit union. But anyways, long story short, I don't know why, but it's not showing up in my app yet. But I don't know if it's because I have my personal accounts mixed in with my business accounts when I show them. And so I'm just not sure if that's why, but it definitely,
I'm thinking
it definitely is not showing up yet.
Well, we perfect source, our good friend Lou Grilli, who we just went through the voice authentication on with his Wells account. So we can check with him as well. But this just screams to me the kind of thing that kind of goes through a controlled rollout. And this video, I don't know how long ago they posted it, but it definitely felt like a hey, this is coming soon, be watching. So maybe they're rolling it out to small limited groups as time goes on.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, they sent me a note that said it was.
Yeah,
which,
that's
they
interesting.
told me it was available to me, Glenn. And they don't know how ready I was to Fargo.
And we're missing the boat again. This is the second episode in a row that we're saying, wait a second, hey, we're giving Wells a lot of free publicity. Wells, listen in. Sponsor.
Give us a call, Wells.
Yeah, I'm sure
And,
Wells loves to
who's their
sponsor
CEO?
Credit Union focused podcast. They love that.
Well, maybe it's time for Fargo versus Erica.
There's the undercard. We go with the development heads rather than
yeah. So let's see. It's Charles W. Scharf.
Yes,
is his name. That sounds very. Oh yeah, this guy looks in shape. He looks like he could battle.
Didn't he used to be MasterCard?
So yeah. He's been around a long time, and New York Mellon, and Visa. He was the chief executive officer, director of Visa.
Okay, I got that.
Yeah, but I mean, a guy like this, he's got to be able to scrap. I think he can. And who was it? We were going to have him battle the Bank of America CEO. Yeah.
Let's see pulling OpenAI while we're at it.
Oh, I don't know, man. Brian Moynihan looks like a scrapper to me, dude. He looks like he could. I don't know. This is this would be a great match because I don't know who's tougher. I think I don't know. He looks scrappy to me. And I like a crusty veteran. I like a crusty veteran. I do. I loved when Brett Favre went to Minnesota. I like to be a veteran. I even kind of had a little bit of like, when Tom Brady, who I put no words to of my dislike to him before he went to the Buccaneers, but then I kind of pull it for him. Once you get old too, it's like, hey, I'd like to see the 50-year-old guy throw a touchdown. Let's do this.
So are you?
What's that?
You on the Aaron Rodgers bandwagon for the Jets this year?
No, Aaron Rodgers
not old enough yet.
Aaron Rodgers freaking me out a little. He has been. I'm worried he's done a lot of mushrooms, and I'll be honest. I'm worried he's gonna because they always said that like. Remember when we were kids? They were like, "Don't take LSD because if you take LSD, someday in your future, maybe 20 years from now, it could come back on you, right?" And remember, we used to talk about that. Like you could have flashbacks to this. You could just suddenly be walking around and boom, you're tripping again. And so now I'm worried he'll start seeing a bunch of mushrooms running around on the field. I just don't know.
Gives him more receiver options. Come on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And the bigger the mushroom, the easier the throw. Anyways, so I don't know. That's what I got for you today, Glenn. Oh, by the way, I assume we have a huge episode coming out about your trip.
This may be the most freewheeling, but I think maybe also be a drug reference at some point. The most freewheeling big cast ever. And yes, there is. Thank you for mentioning that. In fact, I'm going to bring a new feature to the big cast that we've never had before. In-flight movie reviews that are actually financial institution themed.
No,
yeah,
I don't believe you.
I'm going to hold it.
I don't believe you. This is wow. What airline? Just at least give us that preview.
Virgin Atlantic, and it's a British movie. And if you can find it before then, knock yourself out. But
is Branson on your flight?
I didn't make it up to first class, so I'm not certain.
Was it first class in Virgin Airlines? Isn't it like a spaceship anyways? Like, isn't the first class actually in a bubble that floats alongside the plane or something? We got
very lucky given all the delays that have kind of been, across the US. Several people contacted me and said, you must be stuck at an airport someplace. We actually landed early in both directions. So I don't know how that happened. We were fortunate this time around. But yeah, we've got
sounds like the old joke, uphill in both directions, right? I mean, that's pretty impressive. Well, it sounds like it was a really successful trip.
It was, and although I had nothing to do with business, I still did my usual kind of secret shopping and kind of seeing who wants cash, who wants card. How people use it in different ways. I always enjoy doing that little stuff.
I'd be interested if you saw any effects of Brexit as well. It's been in place for a bit, and I have to think that there has been. Well, I know from watching the news and stuff, there has been some outcome.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's hard to say. I know you got to run, but I can't say that anything I specifically saw. I did see one guy wearing a "God Save the King" T-shirt, and I had a pretty good idea what side of that battle he was on. But beyond that, I'm not sure.
Well, I'm going to tease the next episode.
Go for it.
I want to talk about orcas as influencers.
Orcas, as in
Mhm.
whale.
Yeah.
That's a tease.
And dead salmon hats. So just write that down. If you want to Google it, you'll figure out what I'm talking about. But
Dead salmon.
we're at least going to talk about that a little bit.
Dead salmon hats. HATS.
Yeah. It's not a band that orcas like, but yeah, orcas as influencers. I think I'm on to something. Well, let's get that database, that connection out for what you're using ChatGPT for. Glenn, where can people find you if they really want to, if they want to engage with, probably the best cannabis expert out there?
They're going to find me in Alaska for the next week or so when I'm heading out that.
Are you going to fish for salmon?
Dead salmon hats. Yeah, I think.
Oh, wait, isn't it tuna up there or salmon? I think
it's salmon. It is salmon.
Yeah.
But no, track me down via the Best Innovation Group website, big-fintech.com, or via the podcast in the comments field. But you can also find me on Twitter at 154advisors.
And you can find me on Twitter at JBFinTech. You can find me on the big website, and I gave my email out earlier. So jb@big-cu.com. Send me a note, even if you just want to talk about Glenn. I'm happy to engage. We could talk about his cannabis issues, his cannabis expertise. We could do all of that. Anyways, well, let's everybody stay loose and be ready to Fargo some. Keep an eye on these cage matches. And Glenn, welcome back. It's great to have you back, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thanks. Lots of great new content coming up the next few weeks. So be sure to check in every Tuesday.
All right.
Check back each week for the latest from the Big Cast. Or better yet, we hope you'll consider subscribing for free via Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you have questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you. Tweet us at Big FinTech. Email info@big-fintech.com. Or visit us at big-fintech.com and click on the Media tab, where you can post a comment or check out our archive of hundreds of past episodes. See you next week.